Okay, so here we are, somewhere on Lake Michigan. We're headed south now towards Chicago, and I'm going to take you through a little bit of what my day today is going to look like. We started early this morning with the Bois Blanc pass over to the Mackinac Bridge, and now we're through Lansing Shoal and headed south to Chicago. Okay, so today is, what day is it today? Today is October 9th. We are on Lake Michigan, headed south to Chicago. Today started out pretty early. We were westbound through the Bois Blanc passage, so I was up at 2:30 this morning. I don't go up to the wheelhouse for this pass. The mates can do it pretty well. I do get up for it, and I'll sit here in my room. I have a repeater of the Ectus here. So I just sit on the couch over there with the door open and watch the mates as they take it through. I like to be on standby when we get into more confined waters, just in case the steering decides to take the morning off. Yeah, so we probably got clear around 5:30 this morning. At 5:30 I went back to sleep for a few hours until the office hours started, and then I got up again and started looking at some email. All right, so I got up again at 8:30 this morning. That's usually about the time the emails from the office start rolling in. So I like to be around when that happens so I can get a jump on all of them. So while I'm waiting for the emails to roll in, I'm looking at the water levels and wind forecast for Lake Michigan. So as we make our way south on Lake Michigan, the wind is expected to turn around and come out of the south, and that will drive the water level in Chicago down. Now, we loaded the ship to plus 10 inches above datum. Currently, the water level in Chicago is sitting around plus 15. However, the wind has not gone around to the south yet. So, water levels in the Great Lakes are not driven by tides. Now, they are mostly affected by winds and water flow into the Great Lakes Basin. So, water flow coming in generally decides average levels up and down. The fine-tuning of the water level is associated with which direction and the intensity of the wind. So we are sitting at plus 15 now in Chicago as we're making our way south on Lake Michigan, but the wind is going to come around to the south and increase in intensity up to 25 knots. So I'm expecting the water level to drop out a little bit. So we loaded to plus 10. So keep plus 10 in your mind there. We're going to come back to that a bit later. So while we were loading in Goderich, I have to set the water level or the draft restriction for the load. So I use the information from various weather forecasting sites as well as the history of the water level monitoring station, in this case Chicago, and I make a judgment call based off of that. I let the first mate know that this is the draft restriction for the load, and he will load the ship to whatever draft I set it to. So when I'm setting a draft restriction for a port, by the water level judgment call there, if I overshoot that, we cannot enter the port, meaning we have to go to anchor, and delays are on us at that point, so we lose money. If I set the water level or the draft and we're too light, we don't carry or maximize the amount of cargo going into the port. So it's a very fine line to walk. It takes some practice, but eventually you get pretty good at it. So keep in mind, we loaded to plus 10. The current water level, as we're in the northern part of Lake Michigan, is plus 15 in Chicago, but the wind has yet to go around. So stay tuned to the end of the video, and we'll see how close I got or if we had to go to anchor. Okay, as you can see, we are now in Chicago. I didn't get to film everything yesterday that I wanted to get filmed. So after I finished up with the weather and the water levels, I moved on to marine traffic. Now, I use marine traffic as a way of coordinating or seeing if there's going to be any conflicts for an arrival or departure. So as we made our way south on Lake Michigan, I was watching marine traffic for any other ships that may have been destined for the same area. Also, I use it to see if there's anybody inside the river that may be leaving, or that I will have to watch to see if they will be leaving when we get down there. Luckily for us today, we didn't have any conflicting traffic. There was a few ships and small tug and barges around, but nothing to really give us any headaches over, which was fantastic. Also, while I'm looking at marine traffic and watching for traffic, I will call the tugboats for an assist. Now, Algoma has a standard that we use one tug to get to the 92nd Street dock. So I got to make sure that there's one waiting for us when we get there. That process is very, very simple. Great Lakes Towing takes very good care of us. It's just one phone call, maybe a day or 12 hours out, and then we call them a little bit later just to firm up so that they can get their crews on scene and get the tug out and be ready for us. So after I've checked the weather, watched the water level, arranged the tug, and looked at traffic, next comes a very glamorous part of being a captain of a Great Lakes freighter, customs. So we cleared out of Goderich through CBSA Hamilton. They cover Goderich. And then I submitted all our documents to the agent, along with submitting the electronic notice of arrival and the electronic notice of departure. All of this paperwork needs to be submitted beforehand so that CBP, Customs and Border Patrol here in the USA, they have time to review it and look for any abnormalities or see if I made a spelling mistake. So the agent, what they will do is they will be our liaison between the ship and customs. So I send the electronic notice of arrival to CBP, and US Coast Guard also monitors that. And then all the paperwork, that goes to the agent. The agent then calls the customs here in Chicago, and they'll deal with them. So the agent doesn't just deal with customs. Apparently, one of the cargoes that we have on board today is not exactly cooperative. It tends to be a little bit sticky, and it doesn't flow very well. So the agent has arranged for a crane and a small excavator. Now, when I say small, I mean it's big enough to fit in the hatches. It's still quite big. I think it has a 20-foot reach or something like that. Anyway, so if the cargo doesn't cooperate, the agent has arranged for this excavator and a crew to be on site so that they can help us get it out. And something special today that has just come up that I didn't actually mean to include in this video was our stove has gone out in the galley. It's an electric stove, and we can no longer boil water. Now, usually we could wait a few days until we could get somebody to come on and repair it, or our electrician comes back to the ship. But I have Thanksgiving dinner thawing now, and we kind of need it. So the agent has arranged for us to get a shore person on board, an industrial appliance technician, and they're going to come on and hopefully fix it so that we can save Thanksgiving dinner. And that's not even the worst part about what we're dealing with right now. So what do I mean that the stove in the galley not working isn't even my biggest problem? Right now, the main story on the ship, the one that's keeping everybody on the edge of their seat, is garbage bags. That's right, just regular, plain old garbage bags. We are nearly out. We can operate the ship low or out of a lot of things. We can even go on shore power and shut the engines off. But try running a ship without garbage bags, it just doesn't work. Now, the way that we get different things on the vessel is through a purchasing system that I have access to here on my computer. We will create a requisition. The requisition then gets sent to the office. The office then approves or adjusts the requisition as it needs. Once it's approved, it's sent to a vendor. The vendor then collects the items that have been approved on the requisition and packs them all up, and then they're picked up by a truck and brought to the ship at a convenient port. The next convenient port for us to get our garbage bags is October 14th, which is in about 4 days, in Goderich. So we are 4 days away from getting garbage bags, and I'm not sure if we're going to make it that long. This is one of those many things that maritime school really let me down on. They don't teach you about running out of garbage bags when you're a cadet. Okay, so here we are back at my computer. So after I finished looking through our purchasing system for the garbage bags that we're somehow very short on, I went through what we call our planned maintenance system. So this would have been about 11 in the morning, so just before lunch. So for those of you that have been following along so far, yes, I missed breakfast. Again, that happens a lot. I usually get caught up in things and then forget that a whole meal has passed. So anyway, it's about 11 now after I finished with the garbage bag dilemma and trying to track down whether we're going to get them or not. I pulled up the planned maintenance system. So the planned maintenance system is a computer program that we have on board. It's also part of our purchasing system. And in this system, we have a series of tasks that have to be conducted regularly. So things in this system are fire drills, lifeboat drills, different checks that need to be done around the ship, all kinds of various different things. Now, usually the items that are in the planned maintenance system are a part of some sort of regulation or law that we have to comply with. For example, fire drills. We have to have one fire drill a month unless we change out 25% of the crew. If we change out 25% of the crew or more between fire drills, we have to have another one within 24 hours. So that's all stored in there. So I usually go through this system every day or two, looking for things that are coming due or overdue, or sometimes things need to be rescheduled for winter work. For example, a propeller inspection is probably something that will get done at winter work and not during the season. So after I went through the planned maintenance system, I made a list. I usually make this list every couple of days, and I will plan out different tasks that we can get done within the next 2 or 3 days. So we need to do a emergency steering drill and a security drill. I can't get into the security drill, obviously for security reasons, but the emergency steering drill that we're going to do is something we're going to do on the way back north to Bruce Mines. So this drill consists of us taking control of the steering down in the steering gear flat where the steering gear is. There's a trick wheel down there, a little wheel about that big, and we can take control of the steering from down there. Also down there is a gyro repeater, so we can communicate with whoever's doing the emergency steering, a heading that we'd like them to steer. There's also, there's several rudder angle indicators down there. So if we ask for a specific rudder angle, they will be able to do that. So we are going to steer the ship from the steering gear flat on the way north to Bruce Mines. That's one of the things we're going to get done. We are due for a fire drill this month because it's October 10th. We haven't had one for October yet. However, I'm going to wait a little bit because most of the crew on board has already participated in last month's fire drill. And we have a couple crew members changing out over the next couple days. So if I do one now and then we change out a few crew members, we'll have to do another one. Whereas if I just delay the drill now, which we would still be in compliance because we're still going to do one in October, we will be able to comply with the 25% rule and the monthly rule and have one drill that covers both. So efficiency is very important. We're constantly managing jobs and rest hours. And if we keep doing drills without very particularly choosing exactly when we need to do them, we can burn a lot of rest hours and then maybe other jobs get delayed. So just before lunch, before I headed down to get my first meal of the day, I started flipping through some paperwork and I found a report that needed to be finished out. So last weekend, last Saturday, or Sunday, I suppose, it would have been the 5th of October, we had a medical emergency on board. We had a crew member, shortness of breath, out on deck, and we had to get him medical help quickly. The crew acted very well. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. We had the first aid team on scene very quickly. They gave this crew member some medical oxygen along with his inhaler, which he had in his room, so someone went up and got that for him. Another crew member called 911 and had the ambulance on the way down. Now, the ambulance was already arriving by the time that the crew had called me and I got down on deck. So that was very, very fast. So very fast response by everybody. The crew member's fine. He got off when we were in Hamilton, and then he returned when we got back to the canal with a clean bill of health and fit for regular duties. So all in all, things went very, very well. What happens afterwards is a whole stack of paperwork. So there's incident reporting, there's forms from the doctor that have to get filed correctly. We have to create a occurrence, we call them occurrences, report within our electronic reporting system, computer-based reporting system for the company. So I finished up all of that almost. In the morning, I just needed this crew member to come up and get their signature on the paper, and then we would have been all done. This crew member was on a watch that was going to start later in the day. He was on his rest hours at this time, so I just waited for him to be around. Hope you don't mind if I sit for a minute. We are having a fun day here in Chicago while I'm trying to record this. So we left off at lunch. After I finished that reporting that I did for the crew member with the medical emergency, went down and I had lunch. Also took that time to go and record this. Right now, are we following? We're following. Oh yeah, got me. Yeah, I recorded the intro to this video that I'm making now, and I got a high five from Lake Michigan. Happens sometimes. We had the wind coming around to the bow at this point, like the forecast had predicted, and the waves kind of popped up there for a minute. All right, so went down and I had lunch. Went up, had a high five moment with Lake Michigan there. After lunch, I went up and I spoke with the 12 to 4 watch. The 12 to 4 watch consists of the second mate and an AB. The second mate is the navigational officer, so he looks after the routes, charts, and bridge equipment. So if we have any problems up there, that's his realm. That's what he deals with. So I wanted to talk to him about the route that we're going to be taking up to Bois Mines after we leave Chicago. We have a few options. We don't usually get that on the Great Lakes, but because of Lake Michigan and we're going to Bois Mines, we do have those options. So we could go back the way we came, which is the deep water track, or we could cut through Gray's Reef. Gray's Reef is in the northeast part of Lake Michigan. It's a shallower passage, so usually you would go through there if you weren't fully loaded or in ballast condition, you would go through there. So we're going to take Gray's Reef. That's going to save us a few hours of the transit time. We're also going to take a passage from the St. Mary's River through to the North Channel called the Turkey Trail. So we had to make a few minor adjustments on the track. He had originally planned for us to go up through Lansing Shoal, which is the Deepwater Pass, and go around through a passage called False Detour. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure False Detour is between Drummond Island and Cockburn Island. So anyway, that's what we spoke about when we went up to do that. I also spoke with him about all the phone calls that need to be made for notices prior to arrival to Chicago. He made a very comprehensive schedule of who needs to be called and when. We do have to notify the dock. We have to notify the tugs. And we have 2 docks here, so we got to notify both docks. And we also had to organize these extra people that are helping us unload here. So we discussed all that. We were at that for a little while. I had to check and approve the track up to Bois Mines as well and sign off onto that. So we had all that set up by the time I left. Okay, so after I finished with the 12 to 4 watch, I came back down here to my office. Continued with the occurrence report for the medical emergency that we had. The crew members signed the documents, and now that is finished. I also finished up another occurrence report involving a Great Lakes tug in Cleveland that I kind of sent for a swim. Anyway, no damage done to the tug, no damage done to us. Everything's okay. That is also closed out now. I continued on with the garbage bag dilemma. I got confirmation that everything shoreside has been approved. I'm just waiting for confirmation that they will be on the truck. My biggest headache of the last week has been these garbage bags, believe it or not. Not the medical emergency, not the paperwork, not the canal, garbage bags. So after I got all that confirmation with the office about the garbage bags, I dove into what we call the bridge maintenance list. Because we are going to Chicago, there is bridges in the river in Chicago where we go, and I need to make sure that the bridges are not in a maintenance state. So these bridges in the river, so Cleveland, Toledo, Buffalo, Chicago, anywhere, or Saginaw, anywhere where there's bridges on the river, they routinely will have maintenance for different parts of the bridge, and that will require maybe notices before we can pass. Some bridges, when they have maintenance, they require a 2, a 4, a 12, a 24-hour notice in order to get them open. Some of them have lights that are extinguished. The lights on the bridges there's usually a light in the center of the bridge that is red when it is down or it is not locked or in transit. And then it is green when it is fully raised and locked in position. Sometimes these lights are out, so I need to go to the maintenance list to make sure that I know if the lights are going to be out or not, because that's something I look for before I will go through a bridge. We get this report every month. It contains phone numbers for the bridge operators, what notices they need, who's working on the bridge, what work is being done on the bridge, and if there's any hazards to navigation. Sometimes there's maintenance going on the bridge, but they are normally operating. This happens in Toledo, I think, more than anywhere else that I've seen. Sometimes they'll have a barge on one side of the bridge or the other, so I have to pass through slowly, but the bridge operates as normal. Okay, so after I looked at the bridge maintenance list, I realized that there was only one bridge that we had to worry about. He only needed a 15-minute notice, and that's all perfectly fine. While I was searching through for the bridge maintenance list, I got a message about an upcoming crew member's return to the ship. The chief cook, the regular chief cook, will be returning to the ship on the 14th in Goderich with the truck. So I have to go down and tell the chief cook that's here now that she will need to be ready to go on that date. That's information that we had been waiting for a while. We've been kind of in limbo, not sure when this individual will be returning to the ship, but now we know. I also have a crew change coming up in Bruce Mines after Chicago. The second mate will be changing out, and we have the head tunnelman will also be leaving in Chicago. So that's 3 people changing out this month. That's not quite the 25% yet, but if we had one more, that would be 1 or 2 more. We'd be very close. I think we had one recently after the last fire. So anyway, I went down to the galley. I spoke to the chief cook, and we discussed her travel plans. One of my duties is to arrange travel for the departing crew members. The chief tends to look after the technical department, so the engineers, the EA, and the tunnelman, and I look after the deck and galley. All right, so that pretty much takes us to almost the end of the day. While I was down there talking with the chief cook, we did discuss a few things that were not functioning the way that they were. The stove had been acting up yesterday. We'll see if we can get someone down to look at it in Chicago. I'll be using the agent to organize that. That is part of their job. If we require a technician for something, they are supposed to be our point of contact for that. I did check the weather and the water level again. Water level is still hovering around 15 inches yesterday, but today, now that we're in Chicago, I can tell you what it was when we arrived. So when we arrived at 8 o'clock in the morning to the piers, the water level was 9.5 inches. We nailed it. We were able to get in 9.5 inches. Like I told you, I loaded to plus 10, 9.5. Perfect. Sometimes you just get lucky. Anyway, water level was good when we got here. We were able to get to the dock, no problem. So that actually worked out very well. The wind went around to the south as it was forecasted, pushed all the water in southern Lake Michigan up to the north, and that's why the water level dropped from 15 inches when yesterday on the 9th to 9.4 inches when we got around the pier this morning on October 10th. Yeah, so that is a day. This is a usual day if I'm not doing any docks or locks or canals. It's a lot of paperwork. Now, you may watch other videos and think that captains maybe just take naps and catch every meal in the galley. I can assure you that every captain in Algoma's fleet and all the Laker fleets skip meals due to work constraints, trying to get projects done, and so on. So when you think of a Laker captain just doing rivers or locks or canals, try to remember that there's a lot of back end things that go in to the captain's role, trying to support both the ship, the company, and the crew. Because as the captain, I represent the company on board the ship, and I represent the crew of the ship to the company. So you're kind of stuck. Oh my God.